Right. One good afternoon again. So my second interview of the day, very exciting. We have Fiona Clark under the spotlight. Now, Fiona Clark. So Fiona Clark's title is the Zenergizer. Now, I've never interviewed anyone called the Zenergizer before. So I'm a little bit unsure what to expect. I am not a massive cynic, okay? I'm discovering my inner wizard as we speak, okay? So as I said, I meditate every day. I'm a very spiritual person. It's all about this, and I said it's all about the chakras, aligning my chakras. So just I'm not such a massive cynic, Fiona. So Fiona, we have actually met in real life, which is lovely.
Yeah, I know.
And just briefly on Richmond Common. But how have you enjoyed your Zoco journey so far? First of all.
Oh, Nick, what else could I say? But it's amazing. It's fabulous. I've recommended so many people to come, as you well know, because I'm always saying, right, where do I send them now? Which link is it for them to join? Yeah, no, I have to say, in all honesty, it is because, and the reason why it's so good is obviously because of the people in it. The people who are there are the ones that make it, but it's also professionally run, shall we say, Nick?
I like that.
That's what I would say.
I like that.
You are the networking guru.
Perfect.
Do I need to say any more?
No, you don't. That's enough. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you so much. So all about you now and the Zenergizer. So okay. You give 3 questions. We've veered from the idea originally, but that's fine. Okay. We want to know all about Fiona. So what number 1? What are you? And let me spotlight you. Someone should nudge the spotlight. Okay, thank you. Yes. So is everyone lovely? Okay, fine. So Fiona,
oh my God, there I am.
So what are you most passionate about?
Okay, what am I most passionate about? Do you know what? I'm passionate about a lot of things, as you probably know, cycling being one of them, actually. But I'm really passionate about as many of us who are willing to be in that space of absolute bliss. And that's really what we're on this world to really experience, isn't it? And I'll go back a little bit, because those of you who don't really know what my journey's been, my journey started about 30 years ago when I actually trained as a kinesiologist. And the reason I did that, and many people who have been in or gone into personal development will have probably gone in because they've had an accident or there's been a trigger for something. And I had an accident on the M25 a long time ago, going to work. I used to work for BA, and I was going to work, and I was number 4 out of 5 cars, and I had whiplash twice, and I could see this BMW coming in at full speed, and I knew I was nothing else I could do. Then I had another whiplash injury 3 months later in a car where I was stationary. It wasn't my fault again. And so I had this really bad injury, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was in so much pain, I couldn't lift anything, and da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, cut a long story short, I was obviously trying to get the insurance, which took 4 years. And the doctors in Harley Street and everybody was saying, you'll have problems the rest of your life, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was recommended to go to a kinesiologist who actually was in Crawley, and she fixed my neck. And I was so flummoxed by this, because I was still going to these doctors saying, and they were still telling me I'm going to have problems the rest of my life. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I had no problem with my neck. And I was absolutely stunned. So this is what led me into this world of...
And sorry, but please forgive me. Is kinesiology another a branch of
energy?
Of energy healing of some sort, yes.
Kinesiology, if you don't know what it is, it's really where we're testing the body on all of the meridians. Yeah, you know, the meridians, your energy pathways. And the purpose of kinesiology is you are looking at what the body needs to heal. You're not treating symptoms. We're looking at what is the cause of a problem, whether it's a spiritual, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, whatever it is. So we use muscle testing. Yeah, those of you who've done muscle testing, a lot of you who've done my thing will know the wonder wave, as I call it. And really what you're doing, Nick, is you're tuning in to your body's computer and you're finding out what the body wants. It is absolutely magnificent. But back in 91, when I was doing this, I tell you, I was a closet case because people thought I was really weird. They thought I was, you know, a bit of a witch.
Yeah, times have changed, definitely.
They have changed, but then, and so I didn't really talk to a lot of people about it because I didn't look the image of this weird woo-woo person, shall we say. So that's what led me into this magical world. And it made me understand and realize that we are so much more than we think we are. And in our West, and I can say this with confidence because I've lived in Asia for 10.5 years, I think in so many ways, the NHS has done us not the best in many ways, because what we're brought up to believe in this country is if you are sick, you go to somebody else and they fix you. Now in Asia, they look after themselves from a very young age. If they are sick, actually the Chinese doctors think they failed, because what they're doing all the time is looking at prevention. They're looking at what is it I need to do today. Reflexology shops are as common as coffee shops over here. You go to your Chinese herbalist, you go to your acupuncturist. It's about prevention. But our way of living in the West has been, you take a tablet. And so when I got into this work and started to understand about our body, our energetic body, as well as our physical, mental, and spiritual, it's like we are the most incredibly powerful machines. We don't give ourselves justice for what we are able to do in our lives on every level. And so kinesiology was a fantastic training. And I went on and I trained as a reflexologist and all sorts of different things. So this is where this energy comes from, because it's having a high vibe energy, but it's having that zen with it. And this is what I'm passionate about. Ever since I did my kinesiology training, my passion was to share with people how they could heal themselves. So this is why, and some of you, I know Justine has, and Carol's obviously had a lovely session last week with Carol. I want you all to be able to tap into your own innate healing powers, because you've got everything at the end of your fingertips. And it's not difficult, it's not complicated, but we make it so. Because the committee up here loves to have a conference, and it loves to tell us all the things that we cannot do and the things that we're not good at because of past experiences. And I truly believe that all of us live with a certain amount and level of trauma in our bodies, whatever level you want to call this. And that's from, you know, whether we've had sadnesses, whether we've come from a place of fear, whether relationships have broken down, whether you've just had a really shitty childhood or something. But we all have some form of trauma, which actually brings us to who we are right here and now, good, bad, or ugly. So when I work with people, what I'm really passionate about, I don't want to just work and bring you back into the present moment right here and now. I want to find out what is it that has created this feeling of fear inside your body, or overwhelm, or anxiety, or anger. Because if you're just treating a symptom, you will never get to the real core of the issue. So we go back, we can't change what's happened, but we can change the way we view it, the way we react to it, the way we respond to it. And this is what I work with, because it's just magical when you lift that weight off your shoulders. And I'm a big observer. I watch and I listen. And very often, even in meetings, I'm sitting there and people might think I'm not engaging. I'm watching, I'm looking, I'm observing people, and I'm seeing. And this is what I see. And it's fascinating, as you know, as we're getting older, there's benefits to getting older, is that people I've known for many, many years, and some of them in my family, they're still the same as they were 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. They're still moaning about the same old things. They're still behaving in the same way. They're still unhappy. They're still grumpy, because those early experiences that they've had that have created some disharmony have never been cleared, and they are still reacting from those. And it really makes me sad, because I just think you do not need to live like this. We only have one, well, we have one life in this physical form here, but we have a life that we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. We want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we are living in the best way we can possibly live here and now. And we cannot do that if we have any itsy bitsy part of trauma in our body, because there'll always be those messages telling you that you are not good enough at this, or you are not something enough. Does that give you an idea?
It does, yeah. I mean, as I said, I mean, obviously, the Zenergizer is obviously around the word energy, and it's a fascinating subject. I mean, I've been discovering spirituality much more in the last sort of year or so, and it's interesting. I mean, with Justine the other day, she consented. She immediately said, "Your energy has shifted. Something happened," and I didn't say anything or do anything. And so we talk about energy much more. And so we are, I mean, and I tap into energy at meeting, networking event. You instantly connect with someone, and sometimes you don't. Whatever it is, nothing said, not about the look, it's about the energy. So again, and this leads on to another question. So how can we understand ourselves better?
Well, number one, you have to have a willingness to do that. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people just do not want to. And this is one of the questions that I will always ask people that I work with, particularly if it's on a longer term. Have you got 100% commitment to doing something different? Mm-hmm. Because clearly what you're doing now is not working. No. And I've worked with people where they want you to be fit. They want to be fixed. Mm-hmm. They want me to fix them. That's not my job. Mm-hmm. It's not the journey. I'm not here to fix anybody, but I will help you to fix yourself, because you are the healer. I'm just the conduit. So when you have made that decision to say, you know what, I feel really shit and I'm sick of feeling like this, or I'm sick of having this pain. Okay, this is another thing, massive message from the universe. Pain is just, for me, a big sign to say you're not listening to something up here, so it will go into the body and will give you a message. When we start listening, pain will go. So when we start making choices, because we all have a choice to do something different, it will feel uncomfortable. I'm never pretend that's not going to happen. I will say to everybody when I work with them, even on the 5-day experiences, be careful, because this be ready to be uncomfortable. But the beauty of you stepping into that uncomfortableness is, number one, you know you're going in a new direction. And number two, when you let go of what's keeping you in your safe zone, which is more often that fear zone, but you like it because it feels safe and you know where you are. When we get uncomfortable, we're going into the unknown, and we're going into a place where we don't have any idea what's going to happen. But what happens when you go through that is you come out, you feel lighter, and you will have a much, much deeper sense of comfort than you've ever had. Mm-hmm. Because you will just know energetically, you will just feel it. You might not be able to put that feeling into words. You will just feel different. You will feel happy. Mm-hmm. People can't necessarily put it into words, but you know what I'm talking about. And words is just, we can't always put those feelings into words, but we know how it feels. It's either good or it's bad. We've either got fear or we've got love. Mm-hmm. And we're swinging most of the time towards fear. And we want to try and get that pendulum more up this end than this end.
Mm-hmm. And so, when it comes to clients, ideal clients, I mean, you're looking for anybody really who's willing to explore that side of themselves, aren't you?
Absolutely. Mm. I am, and I work with kids. I'm very passionate about working with kids, and that started. When I was in the Philippines, I used to put workshops together because I feel whether we have children ourselves or not, we have a massive duty mm-hmm. to our children and our next generations. And the pandemic hasn't even started in many ways, in my opinion. The mental health pandemic is going to be what's going to be the problem. We have to look after our children so that our children know how to deal, number one, with emotions, understand what emotions are. But more than that, what people forget or don't consciously always realize, the issues, the challenges, the struggles that we have in life are not really the problems. The problems are how we deal with it or not deal with it. Do we shove it under a carpet or do we deal with it? That's the difference. And with children, one of the reasons I love working with kids is they react so quickly because they don't have the emotional baggage that we've got as adults, because it's accumulated. So then you just have to unroll and unroll and unroll until you get to the bottom. Children don't have as much, but I worked with a little girl not so long ago at the age of 10. And she gave me 3 occasions in those few years that had really traumatized her. And I thought, she's only 10. And we cleared those in an hour. She's never come back.
Wow.
Because she feels okay. And that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. And you're prolific on social media, which is great. And you really embrace the whole workshop, concept and stuff. You have challenges and workshops and all kinds of things going on. Facebook challenges, all the rest of it. What's your next big thing on the horizon?
Well, I'm very sad today because I had my last day of my chakra journey, which has been for 8 weeks. And I absolutely love taking people through the chakra journey, because the chakras are energy centers, as you well know, but I'd like you to think of them as houses. Mm-hmm. We're in one big house and every house has a different room. And you can think of each of the chakras as just a different room. And each room is significantly attached to certain things or has certain things that are related to that room. And so we need to go into each room to make sure that they are clear and in balance and they're not affected by anything yucky outside. Otherwise, all the other rooms don't create a nice, happy, warm house. Mm-hmm. So that's how we look at it. So the next thing is I'm actually almost finished recording the chakra journey on a digital course. I'm going to be putting that on a digital course. Cool. People will still get me once a week live for a Q&A. And then what I'm doing is I will promote that with the VIP, which we do 2 sessions a week, live sessions. And I mean, it's just phenomenal. Honestly, within the first week, these women are shifting and changing. Mm-hmm. And every single one of them leaves this journey knowing how to use the tapping, knowing how to use all the other energy skills, because I bring up energy skills from, it could be acupressure, which I did in Hong Kong. It might be theta healing I did in the Philippines. It could be a reflexology point. It could be all these different energy techniques, because we do not want just one thing, because the body gets used to that. The brain gets used to it. We want to challenge those brain waves and spark them off in different ways, change those neural pathways, because that's when the body just responds so much better. You know what it's like if you want your dinner at 6 o'clock every night. It's like, okay, it gets boring. You don't want to be boring. You want to be different. You want to be enthusiastic and change things around. And that's when the joy comes in. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm looking at, is just finishing that off, and I'll be promoting that again soon too. And
you'll do the chakra journey again at some point, won't you? Yeah,
absolutely. I will be doing that. I'll be promoting them both together, actually. So people will have an option of the digital, or they'll have an option of the VIP. Mm-hmm. So I will be doing the 5-day experience, but I'm not going to be doing it in the same way I've done it before.
Mm-hmm. And the title, the Zenergizer, obviously it's Zen and energy together. When did you become the Zenergizer?
A couple of years ago, because I started doing the midlifey thing.
No.
I'm sorry. I can't listen to all these people whinging and moaning, because do you know what? You don't need to. When your body is in balance, and I can say this in personal experience, I'm not just saying this as when your body's in balance and in harmony, you won't get as much as a cold. I used to get the hot flushes, steaming from the inside out, and that was when I was stressed. So that's why I didn't want to be the energizer. It sounds to me like that Duracell doll, the one that like it goes on like this because the Duracell batteries are so good and then it just goes down. That's what I think of as that energizer. So the Zenergizer is having the high vibrational energy, which is talking about being in your place of awareness, of acceptance, of inner peace, of love, with that Zen connection, with that calm. And that's what creates wholeness. That's what creates harmony. That's what creates the bliss. Because, what we respond to is the problem, and how we respond. Stress is different for you. Stress is different for me. It's a perception of how we see something and how we respond to it. So if we take that perception away, and those perceptions have been driven from childhood memories and experiences, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been wonderful. It's wonderful listening to you, and I have learned a lot. I really have. Very, very interesting. Do you have any questions from the assembled gallery? Any questions? Anyone? Who's down the bottom there? Oh, Alessandra down the bottom. Did you any thoughts or questions, guys? Justin, you went on the chakra journey, didn't you, with Fiona, and you have your experience in your spirituality recently. Tell me about the chakra journey.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I haven't experienced the full chakra journey. I've just done the one of the 5-day challenges, and I'm super excited to hear that the next 5-day challenge is going to be run differently, because that's exciting. Because anybody out there who hasn't done a 5-day challenge with Fiona, I would highly, highly recommend it. I guess I want to know a little bit more about the tapping, because you haven't mentioned much about the tapping. That's something that you have as part of your Zenergy chest, isn't it?
It is. And I'll tell you very briefly. So some of you do know about tapping, some of you don't. So tapping really, I mean, I started doing this actually after my divorce or my ex, and I can honestly say to you, it was an absolute game changer, because this, like kinesiology, is another form. You can use it in different ways. So you can use it on a first aid level. You can use it on a very deep level. So what we're intending to do here again is to get to the core of a problem. So when my ex left, I came back into that place of, I'm not good enough. This was my big belief when I was a kid, because one of my stepmothers, that's a completely different story, would tell me for years, you're stupid, you'll never make anything of yourself, and da-da-da. She went on like this. So of course I had a lot of work to do, which is what I cleared, and I thought I had until he left, and it was like, comes rushing back. So I went in, and actually I was in the Philippines, and it was really bizarre, because divine timing, somebody came to Hong Kong to teach, and I went and learned how to do this. And it actually brought me back to this place when I actually had this brain sort of a light bulb moment, thinking, what anybody else thinks of me has got nothing to do with me. It's actually none of my flipping business. Anybody else's judgments are their problem. It's nothing to do with me. And yet we get completely caught up in what other people say or do or think about us, and it's not true. So tapping, what we're doing is we're tapping on certain points of the face and the body. They're the beginnings or the ends of the meridians, yeah? So when you are sick, stressed, or in pain, your energy system is not flowing, right? It's like your electric plugs. If you've got one in the middle, it's not working, it can't flow through. So what we're doing by tapping these points is we're stimulating them and actually making these points or the meridians vibrate, so they bring everything back into balance. Every meridian has emotions connected, because they're all part of the 5 elements. I actually have a chart. 5 elements, which is what we use in kinesiology. These are all the meridians. Some are yin, some are yang, and they all have emotions. So for example, this point down here under the collarbone, really powerful point in Chinese medicine, because K27, end of the kidney meridian, it's all about fear and anxiety. And you know, we do this with babies. I used to do it with my boys before I realized, on their back, because it's calming. Yeah. This is, if you remember nothing else from today, just do this if you're feeling stressed. So the tapping brings us back into a state of harmony and balance, basically. And it's something that I've taught to kids as young as 6. I've taught it in schools, taught it to school teachers, and I probably use it to some form every single day. And I feel that it is actually some technique that everyone needs to use, but I don't do the traditional anymore, because I found that a lot of people I was working with didn't know what to say, because quite often you go into this and it's, even though I'm feeling this, da-da-da-da-da. And so I don't do that. I do it another way. And you'll have to find out what that is. On my YouTube channel, actually, there's lots of videos on there, which will show you as well.
So yeah, I'm checking it. EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, a powerful holistic healing technique that resolves a range of issues based on the combined principles of ancient Chinese acupressure and modern psychology. So there you go. So that's
Magical.
Magic, absolutely, yeah. So EFT, so you have a YouTube channel. How many videos have you got up on your YouTube channel? Do you know?
70 something or another.
Wow. Okay, covering all the subjects that you talked about today, yeah.
Lots of different things, and actually I did do a video on each of the meridians. So if you're interested in the meridians and what they signify, because most people you'll hear who teach you tapping, they don't have a clue and they'll never talk to you about what meridians are you're tapping on or what emotions are connected to those points.
So the meridians are different than the chakras, obviously, yes.
Meridians, your energy. So just think of tram lines going up and down your body. You've got 14. Your chakras are wheels of energy. We have 7 main ones that are down the center of your body. They're the houses, the rooms in the house. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah. And as I said, as someone, because as a child I had a bad stammer, so it could have been my throat chakra was all out of line, wasn't it?
Throat.
So any
Big
other
one. I did a master on that. Yeah.
Did you? So you're on
On
Clubhouse.
both.
So you've embraced Clubhouse fully, haven't you, Fiona?
Yes. I'm on there. I do 2 rooms a week, actually, sometimes 3 rooms a week.
And
Yeah.
you're on in 4 minutes or so. What are you talking about in 4
That's
minutes?
okay. We're talking about, because my partner, Caroline, she'll start it anyway, so it's okay. We're doing chakra, because it's been the Chakra Fest this month. If anyone's been following me, they'll know. This week, I'm talking about all the physical things, physical problems that relate to each of the chakras, and you can work out what might be out of balance. I mean, if you're, for example, root chakra, anything below the pelvis, knees, hips, ankles, feet, root chakra, which is all to do with being safe, feeling secure, having certainty in your life. So today, sorry, I diverted. We're talking about heart and a hearter, heart chakra.
Well, it's I'm fascinated. I think we will call this to an end in a second or so. I didn't spot. I think we will spotlight. I've removed the spotlight now, haven't I? There you go. Okay. I forgot to do that. I always forget to do that. Well, it's been wonderful hearing from you, and I have genuinely, honestly learned a lot. We've talked to be met before, but I have definitely learned a bit more. And we'll have another proper one-to-one. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you for that. So I will stop the recording.